Blog Talk Radio.
There's a hole in my heart, my soul is bleeding. I need to free my mind and see what guilty feeling, tired of the broken dreams, tired of the promised things, tired of the baby mama, tired of the ghetto drama, tired of the back and forth, tired of in and out the four times, tired of all the games in life.
Hello out there in Blog Talk Radio land, here in this country and abroad. Hello over there in Germany and in Italy and in the Caribbean islands and across this great land of ours. Honey, it is another glorious Wednesday, and I hope you have all of your crumpets together, darling, because you know what time it is, honey. It's time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meech. Hans, it's one of those days. Now, before we get started and before I say everything, I am imploring all of you, be sure that you're staying hydrated. Please, be sure that you are staying hydrated, particularly today and for the rest of this weekend. I'm listening to weather reports, and 48 of the 50 states plus the District of Columbia are involved in what they're deeming as this heat wave. 48 states plus plus the district will be over 90 degrees today, and the humidities and things are high. And yeah, so I'm imploring you to please be sure that you are keeping yourselves hydrated, that you have enough water, please, and make sure that it's water. Okay, if you're going to do water, that's fine. If you're going to do Gatorade or stuff like that, that's fine. Although I personally don't agree with that anymore because there's a lot of sugar in it. But just make sure that you are keeping yourselves hydrated with water. Stay away from the soda. Stay away from a lot of juice. And make sure if it's juice, it's pure juice so that you guys are hydrated. You know, get your sunblock and things so that your skin don't burn, and stay cool as possible because this weather is not playing with us, okay? It is not playing. So having said all that, let me say thank you for your love and your support and all of your kindness that you have shown us. You know, we're still in anniversary season this month. We've turned 4 years old this year, and because of you, we were able to do it. The listenership is now at 154,000 and counting and growing. It is by this time next year, I want to have those numbers to double and possibly triple. So, you know, I thank you. If you love me, tell a friend, honey. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this: one way, shape, style, form, of fashion, honey, this thing is moving and it's growing, and you are proof of that. So I have to thank you. I thank you. I thank you. If you're listening by computer and wish to join in on the conversation, which I hope you do, please call in at 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Press the number 1, and that lets me know that you have something to say, and we will get right into it because today, my darlings, you are my co-host, okay? This is usually call this a Don't Come Out of a Bag Wednesday. However, with everything that is going on over the weekend with this verdict and carrying on and George Zimmerman, we could not get around it, okay? So I'm going to dedicate today's show to us having some kind of responsible dialogue about it. For those of you who have followed the case, if you followed it, I need you especially here with me, whether you're in the tea room or not, because the tea room is open. You can go over there right now. Okay, I'm the only one there right now, but it is open. So if you wish to converse over there, please do so. I'm just going to ask that you dish your tea over there responsibly, and just remember that it's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable, okay? Because over there, you know, we're in this technological age where everything is through typing and writing, and a lot of times we think someone is neck rolling us and finger snapping us and this, that, and the other, trying to let us have it. But that may not be the case. So just dish your tea over there responsibly, please, because if I come in and find that you're not and you cutting up, I'm going to cut you out, okay? And, yeah, that's just how it is, okay? Let me put my disclaimer here that Dishing Tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matters, okay? So your listening discretion is advised. I repeat. Dishing Tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who is not mature enough to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. Darlings, I have earned the right to every 3, 4, 5, 6-letter, 7-letter, 15-letter word that I concoct or come up with that comes out of my mouth. I make no excuses for it. I do have a potty mouth. So if you are at work or somewhere that this may not be appropriate, I ask that you govern yourselves accordingly and be responsible, honey. Turn your levels down to where they're respectable, or put your headphones in so that it doesn't disturb anybody. If you have children, now is the time to go put them into the other room, honey, Fedora or SpongeBob or Bert and Ernie or somebody, because this is the time where the grown and sexy becomes the seasoned and sophisticated, okay? And I'm not going to have any one of you bitches calling me, emailing me, dotting me, whatever in me, hunting me down at Kroger's or in the Walmart or whatever, saying that you've got demerited, you've got whatever because you were listening to me. Govern yourselves accordingly because you have been warned, okay? So that there is that. Right, that there is that. Okay. I have to say this is a special announcement because I'm very, very, very excited. Next week, Tuesday, July 23rd, we're going to do a special edition program of Dishing Tea, and it's going to be late night. It's going at 8 o'clock in the evening, so that 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific. I will be talking and dishing tea with Randy Gill. He's a singer from the group 2D Extreme. He's embarking on his solo project right now. For those of you who don't know him from 2D Extreme, honey, you will know him best as the older brother to Johnny Gill. So he will be with us. He's going to be in town next Saturday with his CD release party, and I will be there with that. And we're going to be talking with him next week, Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Also, next Wednesday, we're going to have R&B Diva L.A. Miss Shantae Moore will be here with us next week, Wednesday. So I want you guys to tell all of your friends, tell everybody to come and make sure that they come and join us next week, Wednesday, at our regular time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So I want to get that out in the open now because I don't know if I will remember to say it later, because as we get into this is going to be one of those things, okay? Another special announcement coming from one of our sponsors. This is from Pharaoh's Treasure Box. 5 more artists, Detroit, art, jazz, and theater. We're looking for all you business owners to come on out. We're needing vendors and sponsors to come on through to sponsor the 8th annual 5 More Artists Detroit event featuring art, jazz, and theater. This event is going to be held on September 7th of 2013, of course, running from 7 p.m. until midnight at the Maggie Lee's Community Center there in Detroit, Michigan. Okay. I will be in-house. Praise the Lord, honey. I haven't been home in like 3 years or so. So I'm going to be there, cabaret entertainer, and just the voice of Detroit, honey. He's known for that wonderful, wonderful, rich bass voice. Jesse Peck, formerly of WJLB and WMXD, radio personality. He will be in the house as the master of ceremonies. Also, honey, our wonderful, wonderful own, Detroit's own Chandra Tipler, actress and singer extraordinaire, will be in-house as well. We will have live entertainment from Eli of the Platters and the Starship, and also DJ Ram will be there spinning the tunes so you can get a little dance on as well. We're in the process of making sure that we raise $5,000 because our charity, portions of our proceeds will be donated to the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. So for those of you who are in the Detroit area or going to be there for September 7th, please come on out and see us. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, wish to advertise in our souvenir program booklet, please contact Peter Jackson, who is the artistic director, at 248-688-5178. That's 248-688-5178. We do have, for the souvenir program booklets, for those of you who are business owners and wish to promote your business or whatever, $25 is the start for a business card size ad, so you can put your card in there. $25 will get you into the circulation around the city of Detroit and into other places for those who are coming out of town. I'll be in, so I'll have the book here to circulate here in Atlanta, and et cetera, et cetera. So you want to jump on board, come on. Again, that telephone number is 248-688-5178, or go to the website at pharaohstreasurebox.com. That's pharaohstreasurebox.com, okay? So make sure that you take a hold of that because, honey, I'm telling you, it's going to be a fantastic event, and you will get a chance to see a piece of my production, honey. I'm not going to let the cat completely out of the bag, but you will get a chance to see a piece of my upcoming production, No Time for the Pain. So, we're going to be doing that there. So please come on out and have a grand old time, okay? So that there is for our announcements. Let me say this here. Today's episode, because I'm going to go to a commercial break after I say this, and then when we come back, it's going to be you. Again, everyone in this country, we are all, or most of us, are outraged by the recent not guilty verdict of George Zimmerman in the death of Trayvon Martin. Now, we are going to give our thoughts about what happened, and then we're going to ask the question, honey, was justice served, and what needs to happen now? Okay, now that's one element of the conversation. Plus, for those of you who are there in Detroit, I want to talk about my hometown for a minute because there's some developments that have happened. I see that we have a new city council president. They got rid of one, put somebody else in, and the city of Detroit itself, which has been deemed to be the third most important city in the country because of the auto industry and carrying on and the things that come out of Detroit. What's going on there? You know, we need to understand what is happening there because as one of the hubs of our country, Detroit, they say it's bankrupt, but yet you're sitting up here paying $250,000 to an emergency manager, okay, and his cohorts or whatever the case may be. So we want to look into some of the things that's going on. So for those of you who are there in the city of Detroit, I want you to chime in as well and to give us your perspective, what's going on, and some developments and things because now that Charles Pugh has been seated and basically fired, and they have elected a new city council president. You know, these allegations about him and the 17-year-old, well, he was 17 at the time. The boy is now 18 now. What has been going on with all of that? We want to look into that and get some kind of insight because hell, number one, that's my hometown, and the desolation that we are seeing on the television and things of that nature. It ain't cool. So those are going to be my two topics today. I am going to open the floor to let you have whatever it is that you wish to talk about. You know, call in, and we will discuss that as well. However, I want to make sure that whatever your voice is on this George Zimmerman thing, yeah, let's do that. So when we come back, let me take a commercial break. We're going to get right into it because, yeah, I know you're pissed because I am. But at the same time of being pissed, yeah, you know, I think the jury's hands were tied because they had no other choice. And we'll get into that in just a second. So let me go here. We'll talk to you when we come back.
Trigg Laboratories manufactures premium sexual wellness and consumer health care products and is the parent company of Wet International Incorporated, one of the world's best-selling lines of personal lubricants and intimacy products. We carry a large variety of personal and flavored lubricants, flavored heating massage lotions, and aromatherapy heating massage oils. Whether you need a little or a lot, Wet has you covered. Our line of high-quality, innovative, and unique products are formulated using only the finest ingredients at our FDA-approved facility, meeting the strictest manufacturing standards. Wet is available worldwide at specialty stores and online retailers and at pharmacies nationwide. For more information or to find a retailer near you, log on to www.stayswetlonger.com. Trigg Laboratories. We create fun, quality, trusted products to innovate your intimacy.
The Caribbean American Boys Entertainment. We specialize in jerk and conch food catering, party promotions and emceeing, entertainment with the Caribbean swagger, island fever on the mainland, bam bam. We also provide customized tour guides through gay-friendly Bahamas to all the hot spots of dining and club life events. Mr. Silvano T. DeMarco is the founder and CEO of the CABC. For more information, please contact him at CaribbeanBoysATL@yahoo.com. That's Caribbean Boys with a Z, ATL, @yahoo.com, or on Facebook at Facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. That's Facebook.com/Silvano T. DeMarco. Caribbean American Boys Entertainment. Island Fever on the mainland. Bam, bam. The Big Brothers Network. Yeah, men of color, men of size. The Big Brothers Network was created to celebrate the larger man of color and those who admire him. We intend to promote a positive self-image within our community and the mainstream population. Our goal is to embrace our differences, to inspire self-love, and increase camaraderie through positive, brotherly interactions. We intend to accomplish these goals through the BBN magazine, local and national events, and networking forums. For more information or to catch the latest copy of the BBN magazine, please go to www.bigbrothersnetwork.com. That's www.bigbrothersnetwork.com. The Big Brothers Network. Men of color, men of size.
Of you crying, brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. Oh, not the answer, for only love can conquer. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in. Oh, yeah, yeah. Take it sight, take it sight. Punish me with brutality. Talk to me, honey, so you can see what's going on. What's going on? Hey, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. Woo! Come on, man. Woo!
know what's going on, baby. Yes, I want to know what's going on right now, people. What's going on, brother? Tell me, yeah, what's going on? All right. Down a little bit, Eddie. Yeah. A little bit, right there. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, baby, what you know good? I'm just getting back what you knew I would. Boys, when will it end? When will people start getting together again? Things will make it better. The newspaper, yeah. What else is new, my friend? Besides what I read. Can't find no work, can't find no job, my friend. Money is tighter than it's ever been. Hey man, I just don't understand what's going on across this land. What's happening, brother? Hey, what's happening? I want to know, I want to know. Things still get down where we used to go and dance. Now all my friends are finished. Do you think they have a chance? And tell me, friend, how in the world have you been? Tell me what's out. I want to know what's in. Woo! What's the deal? What's the deal, man? What's happening? What's happening, brother? What's happening? What's happening, brother? I want to know what's happening. What's happening, my man? Been gone a long, long time. Now I'm back on the scene. What's happening, brother? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, brother? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Oh, baby.
Drinks that have acids poison and raspberry, strawberries. Working at your enamel, once it's gone, you can't get it back. I would recommend using Pronamel. Pronamel will help to reharden the enamel. I use that every day, twice a day, and I know that I am protected.
Just wanted an answer, a justified answer.
Do you think justice was served tonight?
A lot of healthy food choices are still high in acidic content. If your enamel is exposed to acid and you brush it away, then it's gone. I would recommend that they brush with Pronamel. They don't need to cut out those foods, but you can make some smart choices.
We, the jury, find George Zimmerman not guilty.
Anybody that watched this trial knew the defense put on the case. We proved George Zimmerman was not guilty. Obviously, we are ecstatic with the results. George Zimmerman was never guilty of anything except protecting himself in self-defense. Who was following who? I mean, isn't that what this case boils down to? That was our theory. Now, we respect the jury's verdict, but really what it boiled down to is a kid minding his own business being followed by a stranger. And so I would submit that that's when it started.
What were you expecting to happen here?
I was expecting justice to be served, I guess, but I didn't get that.
What do you think happens from here?
I just have to pray. This is very, very emotional. There is a lot of people out here, as you can see right now. There's many people out here, all different nationalities. It doesn't strictly come down to the fact that I'm an African American. It comes down to every single race is out here. We just wanted an answer, a justified answer.
Do you think justice was served tonight?
In my opinion, I don't feel that it was.
Trayvon Martin will forever remain in the annals of history next to Medgar Evers and Emmett Till as symbols for the fight for equal justice for all.
Mr. Zimmerman, I have signed the judgment that confirms the jury's verdict. Your bond will be released. Your GPS monitor will be cut off when you exit the courtroom over here, and you have no further business with the court.
Yeah. You have no further business with the court. Now, how about that? And we are back. If you're just joining us and wish to come in on the conversation, please come in and call 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Press the number 1. That lets me know you have something to say, and I'll bring you right on in. I'm quite sure that after hearing that, that has much of a sting and an impact, and has basically, it has basically just turned us upside down. A lot of us we want to know exactly what happened. How could they come to this particular conclusion? Why is this going on? Did they look at the evidence and et cetera, and all of that? However, it's something that we have to deal with now because he cannot be retried, because of everything that we have here set up as far as double jeopardy and things of that nature. So he'll never be retried for this same crime again. There can be a lot of civil accounts that could come from this, and I believe that everybody's trying to rally to make that happen. However, I want to hear what it is that you have to say about all of it, because, unlike the news cameras and things, and for those who are able to get on the air and say what they feel or whatever, and to blog it on Facebook and blow up Tumblr and this, that, and the other, I want to give you the opportunity to come in and to, let's have some kind of dialogue. Now, if you followed the case, I definitely want to hear from you, because I didn't get a chance to follow it all. I only saw the highlights that, when the lawyers were talking on Good Morning America and all of that, on the news and things that they were able to say and all of that. So that's where I come into play. But having said all that, I want to know what it is that you feel and what it is that you want to have said, And now, mind you, I want you to be as frank and as you feel you need to be, because it needs to come out. I am thankful that we didn't. Well, I can't say that we didn't have any, because there was some looting that went on. I think, what was it? Was it in Chicago or New York? I know we rallied here in Atlanta. There was a little bit of stuff down here, but I forget where it was, where they went over and knocked off a Walmart and this, that, and the other in civil unrest. But it did not take the country the way I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to be a little bit more than what they did. But I'm very thankful that we didn't go back to the riots of '67 and burn down everything, because that would not have been the solution either. I know we want to get their attention, but that would not have been the solution. So, let me open up the phone lines to you and let you come on in with that. And also, for those of you who are Detroiters, I want you to come on in here as well, because not only did this case affect the nation, but I'm looking at you directly, because you're already in shambles. Detroit is going through its whole thing, and now with this particular verdict being what it is, and with the devastation that is going on there in Detroit, with all of the mismanagement and misappropriation of funds and things of that nature, with all of the allegations that the state of Michigan still owes the city of Detroit over $300 million, and the governor don't want to give it up. For the separate school systems and things, which I am still trying to understand, why is that in place? Why is it that you would disband an entire school system and create another one versus fixing the one you already got? Which is not making much sense to me. So I want to hear where you are with that, okay? And then, if those two things, if you're bored with those two things and really have something else that's on your heart and you're pressing, I'll let you have the floor as well. So again, 347-205-9183 is the number to call, and just press the number 1, and we will go on from there. I will say this, and I'm going to pose this question to you. When we say we want justice, what does that mean? Because a lot of times we hear that all the time. I want justice. Oh, I want justice. Justice was not served. What do we really mean by that? Because with this verdict, I'm going to tell you justice was served. Now, we may not like the answer, but justice was served based on the letter of the law. Based on the letter of the law and what the jurors had to contend with, justice was served because of what that verdict was. And we'll get into that right now. As a matter of fact, I have 989-790-989-790. I'm coming right to you. Hey, darling, you're on the air.
Hey, honey.
Hey, what's going on?
Starting just where you just left off, because all the things that was in my head right before then, they just went away with what you just said. Okay. What we want when we say we want justice, and justice was served based on the letter of the law. So, I was like, I know I got to be one coming because you've been having a lot of guests. Okay. And that's what I was hoping this was today, so it kind of is. So, just like with the gay laws, everything that they did to the gay children over the years, how it became law to be married in one state and then back to not being a law, it was justice what they did to the children because those were the laws. Whether we like it or not, that's what it is. Going back to the black and white marriages back in the day, child, it was against the law. So in their eyes, according to the law, that's justice. And so we got to stay there. It's hard to stay there because we know what happened was wrong. And in our minds and in our hearts, we want it to be an injustice. But according to the law, it is not. So what we need to do is go about changing the laws. Because with African Americans, it's always uneven sight. So until we change the laws or until we change the way people think about the laws that are sitting in the law seats, then we're going to continue to have this.
Okay, exactly. I agree. Now, here's a couple of things there, because a lot of people have criticized the prosecution, and they were saying that they don't think that the prosecution had did their job effectively. A lot of folks, and in my opinion, and I got this based upon the few little clips and things that I saw from the morning program. Well, I'm partial to Good Morning America. So listening to what the attorneys had there, and I'm so glad Nancy Grace wasn't one of the ones arguing this. But Dan Abrams, the legal analyst for Good Morning America and for ABC, basically, as the trial was going on, he pointed out how the prosecution basically gave them the case. Okay? What everybody have to understand in this was, number one, a lot of folks want this to be a stand your ground law case, and this was not that. This became a self-defense case.
Right.
Because everything that was tailor-made was around him claiming that he had to defend himself from this 17-year-old child because he felt his life was in danger. Okay? So having said all of that, the way how everything started unfolding basically established the doubt for the jurors. All they have to do, the burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defense don't have to do shit. I can sit back here, you accuse me of this, okay, prove it. Prove it. Okay? And so now it comes to you having to give me everything here. Well, everything that they gave ended up creating a doubt that became reasonable, and you did not establish beyond that doubt. That's what it is. They did not establish beyond the doubt to say, no, he needs to go down, because in spite of this doubt, he's still X, Y, and Z. Now, for me, I did not hear this, so if y'all listening to me and you followed the case, please call in and correct me, because I've worked security for 20-some-odd years, okay? One of the things that we do, and I'm sure that the Neighborhood Watch is under the same guidelines, because you are not police officers. There is a limited amount of power that you have. Why did the prosecution not introduce the guidelines for which he was supposed to be patrolling? I did not hear that, because for me, that would have established his guilt in the first place. If this was your job description, whether you're volunteering or not, this is what you said you're going to do to protect your neighborhood. What was the guidelines along this particular patrol? I did not hear that. Okay, when you sit down, y'all know everybody's Neighborhood Watch. There's a command center. There's radios and this, that, and the other for you to patrol with, and et cetera, et cetera. Even if you are a one-man operation, there are guidelines that you have to follow. What was the patrol protocol? That was not established. Okay. Number two, it came out that the gun that he had was registered to him. Okay, that's fine. So that made the gun legal. However, I'm going to assume that if it was registered, that he had a license to carry it. However, what are the guidelines for you having a weapon during the patrol of this particular job? Because I can have a concealed weapon all day. I can have a permit, but on this job, unless it states that there's a clause in there that I can, I'm not supposed to have it there. Why? Because this particular job does not give me that kind of power. That I don't know if they established that. Okay? So if for those two things alone, that there is where, if I had built this case, that's where I would have stayed. Now you heard, I hope that y'all heard that clearly, the clip that I played. That was from USA Today. It was a video clip that had that fucked up ass commercial in the front of it. I was trying to block that out, but when I started over, it restarted the little 15-second commercial for the toothpaste or whatever. Anywho, when the prosecution, he sat up there and said, well, this was what this case was all about. Who followed who? Okay, yeah, and I hear your passion in it, but you did not set that up because you brought in the doubt. You brought in the doubt with all of this. And then we got sidetracked because when they brought in girlfriend, honey, Rachel, the girl who he was talking to, they end up going into places during the cross-examination that helped establish the doubt. And that there need not have been, that was so irrelevant to the case, but it was enough to where it gave them enough to have everything to start to establish doubt. When they got to demeaning his character about the marijuana, and he had this in his system and that in his system, and okay, according to the telephone, he called them white crackers and this, that, and the other. And is that racist? And she said no. I live for her for that. She didn't find that to be a racist statement. However, maybe it wasn't for her. You know, it's cultural differences. This woman is just, she's from the islands and carrying on. So, that there, but it established doubt. It has helped establish the doubt in it because there was no other information. Okay, you come. I'm going to leave you in. I'm going to bring in 313-772. 313-772. I'm going to bring you in, and all of us going to talk together. And you on that sewing machine, child. Okay. 313.
Yes.
Yes, honey, come on.
Really love it. Oh my goodness! Well, you know what? At this point, feel like I didn't hit the button by accident because what you started out with when you became in was what I was gonna go to, and then every thought that I had came after that, you went right there. You done opened it wide up. I mean, I was going to try to run with some shit about, ever since Barack Obama was elected, I have noticed how black folks have just become a different type of second-class citizen. It's a whole new level of fuck, y'all. A whole new level of fuck, y'all.
Right. Now, see,
I watched a lot of Comedy Central, and baby, back in the day, the jokes I'm hearing about black folks, they never came close. They forever talking, this is white people, they're talking about some jigaboos and spin chuckers and shit. I'm like, okay. All right, and ever since then, I was like, you know what, the attitude appears to be, because Barack Obama was elected, we not have to kiss somebody's ass because you got one. Now, that's just a personal opinion, I guess, to add to the controversy. But, unfortunately, what you guys tossed back and forth in the beginning, according to the law, baby, because at least for that Latino family and whatnot, I know they feel like justice was served.
Now, you know what? Wait a minute. Now here's something that's very, very, very interesting. Because here is where I wanted to go with that. Because, of course, everybody wants to holler this racism thing, racism. And we cannot get around that because this young child was racially profiled. That was established. He was profiled. Now, here's the thing, and I had this conversation with someone earlier, and I'm hoping this is him coming in. And that is one of the things, he said this, and he was like, one of the things that we have to understand is that everybody is prejudiced.
Everybody
is prejudiced because prejudice, everybody is. You're prejudiced about something. It doesn't necessarily have to be about race. Because prejudice is what? It means to prejudge something. That means you go in here with an opinion before you even know what it's all about. I know I'm like that with drug addicts and carrying on, and a couple other things. You know, folks are like that with fat people. Y'all know how it is. You see somebody coming to a buffet, y'all go to Old Country Buffet or something, and as soon as a big motherfucker come up in there, y'all know he finna eat up some shit. That's the first thing everybody says, oh, Lord, here come these fat folks. You know, and they eat like birds. Right. You know, so everybody is prejudiced to one degree or another, okay? Because prejudice or being prejudiced, honey, is a state of mind. Being racist becomes the action because now your actions are based upon someone's ethnicity. Because I'm black, I'm going to hold my purse close. You know, or you see that I'm black or whatever. Or because I like that when I see a group of guys. I've been traumatized because I've had to gang fight a lot of my life when I've fought. So when I see a group of guys, particularly black men together, I cross the street because I don't know where this is going, especially if they clock my T. Okay? Right. And then if I'm in one of them days, I don't feel that shit. Okay? Okay. Right, I don't feel like fighting today. I don't feel it, so I'll just cross the street and and go on. And it may have nothing to do with that, because I know when I'm with my crew, I know what we must look like, and I'm part of the, I mean, look I'm not 450 anymore, but when I was that big and there's 3 or 4 of us coming down the street, we look like we gangsters. Well, right. We could damn it something. I won't necessarily say gangsters. Okay, it's hard to do when you in flowing chiffon. However, okay, right, okay. However, but everyone is prejudiced to a certain degree. So the question becomes, because this man is biracial, he's part Caucasian, and I think they say he's Peruvian or something with the P, whatever it is, but he's part of the Hispanic Latino community, okay? So now, what in this, I'm looking at the racial disparities here because I was very concerned about this when all this had first taken place, because there's already bad blood between blacks and the Latino community, because it seems as if the Latino community have now become the new black, if you will. They're willing to come in and do the jobs that we think we too proud to do. They were willing to feed their families. They sit up there and they do all that. They take that abusive treatment that we used to take. But now we sit up there and just holler about what the man doing and this, that, and the other. But these folks will work. They will work and they'll gang up. They put their money together so they can make some shit happen. So now, are we more upset with them because of that? And now that this verdict done came out, does that now, increase the feud between us, or what? Or are we concentrating on the fact that he's white and we've seen another white man get off?
Well, there's nothing else that shows you that if you focus on work, it may work out for you.
How about that? I'm going to bring somebody up. 404-861. 404-861. I'll have you come on in and talk with all of us. Come on. Hey, caller, you on the air?
Yes, hello, Demetrius. How are you?
Hey, darling.
Yes, it's me. I saw the Facebook post about the radio show and the topic. I said, I've got to call in. I've got to check with Big Meech and see what's going on and, give my 2 cents or, hell, even my $1. But how are y'all doing?
Come on with your dollar, baby.
First of all, I have we're now we're in day 5 after the verdict, or is that correct?
Yeah.
Day 5 after the verdict, or day 6?
It's 5. It came in 4, rather.
Well, we're in day 4, and we're still absorbing, what has happened. And some of us, I know, we're still in shock and disbelief, saying that how could this happen? And I felt the same way. And ironically, the day of the verdict, it was actually a few hours before the verdict was read. I turned 21 years old, and I was over your house because we were about to go out, but then the verdict came after 15 hours. And when I heard that verdict, it's like just shock waves went through my body, not only because a murderer that you know is the murderer is getting off.
Right.
It's just, for me being black and in America and seeing, all these barriers being broken, it just feels like once again the old saying how you take 2 steps forward and then some situation they'll snatch you back 3 steps. And that's how it felt for me seeing that. Because in my eyes, I don't give a damn whether George Zimmerman was black, white, biracial, or if he had every race or ethnicity in the whole world. To me, George Zimmerman is a flat-out child murderer. And as far as the prosecution is concerned, I'm pretty sure that they did their level best and they made valid points. And I agreed with why would you get out of the vehicle when the dispatcher told you not to. I do agree with why are you getting out of this car, not only not, adhering to, we don't need you to do that, but why get out of the car with a loaded gun? I agree with all of that. How was it you screaming for help when you said that your mouth was covered the whole time? I agree with that. But I think with the prosecution, they should have just said it for what it was. This was a cold-blooded child murderer who was also very well could be a racist for racially profiling. I mean, you were the first domino that put all this into motion. You got out of your car. You stalked this young man after he was walking home from the store, going to his dad's girlfriend's house. And at the end of the day, I don't think the prosecution they didn't take it there. But the defense, on the other hand, basically they paint the picture of, hey, this is the weed-smoking, angry hooligan thug that decides, hey, I'm going to beat up this guy for following me because, following somebody is not against the law. So George Zimmerman had every right to defend himself, which in my opinion, it's a load of crap. It really is.
Okay.
And knowing that I'm young and I'm black in this country, even with a black president, that this happened, I now feel like I have to look over my shoulders more than what I did before this verdict came out, because I walk home from the store sometimes. I live in a small town. I live in Palmetto, Georgia, in South Fulton County. So it's not a large town. It's just a small town smack dab, on Highway 29. And I walk home. It's about a 10-minute walk from me. And I think to myself, hey, what if I was wearing a hoodie, walking home, past the neighborhood, and some guy, whether white, black, Hispanic, is getting out of his vehicle and he's following me and he's stalking me with a flashlight and a loaded gun. Personally, I ask myself, okay, if I defend myself and I get killed, all of a sudden it was on me, I caused that, but yet you're stalking me. And that's the same thing. Trayvon Martin had every right to defend himself, just like everybody else. And common sense will tell you, you don't follow or stalk anybody. I don't give a damn if you think that they're trying to rob, kill, steal. I don't give a damn. You did what you were supposed to do at first, calling 911. If you felt like you had to call the authorities, that's on you. And they would have been able to come in and handle the situation. But you decided, since you had that loaded gun in your possession, okay, I've got this one. Because let's be honest, George Zimmerman wouldn't have been shit without that gun. And he felt
interesting.
Powerful. Exactly. He felt powerful. And he decided that, because the majority of people that were robbing or vandalizing the gated community were black, and I see this black guy with a hoodie. I believe if he did not have that gun in his possession, he would have left it alone. But because he had that gun, and because he thought that Trayvon Martin was some hooligan ready to rob, he felt powerful, and therefore he got out of the car and he stalked him And basically, to me, that is, and when I was thinking about the verdict,
that's the racial profiling. Because
when I think,
yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you can go ahead.
That there is the racial profiling in it, darling, because that when that came out from one of his best friends and things, that our community has been hit 11 times, I think they said it was. And each time it had been hit or somebody had been vandalized or whatever, they were all African-American men. So now here we have an unidentified African-American male in the area, okay, with a hoodie on and, he had the Skittles and the tea or whatever on his phone. Okay, so now because you didn't know who he was, yes, you did that. That was a prejudicial move. It was a racial profile move because this is a black male. Oh, my God, I don't know him. Perhaps he may be up to something. That there is where the profiling comes in. It was enough of a profile because he called the damn police. That was enough of a fucking profile because he called the police and said, there's an unidentified man here, a black man, blah, blah, blah. So it was enough of racial profiling for him to call the cops.
I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad that you brought that up because one of George Zimmerman's, his wonderful friends, one of his best friends, I believe his name is Frank Taffy, which I was completely disgusted with during this whole process of the trial and even his responses afterwards, saying he actually said that, Trayvon Martin, he was looking through windows or he was trying to look through the window. It's like, listen, it's pouring down rain outside. Why would Trayvon Martin be looking through windows? He's trying to walk home. And that was the point I was trying to make. So it's like, it's really a bunch of, it's like lie after lie.
And then, now here's something else that had come through that I don't think a lot of folks caught, and that was his father and stepmother lived in that complex. So he was coming from there, okay, and whatever the case may be. And I don't know what happened with them questioning that. I don't know if that information came out during their exchange. You know what I'm saying? Because if he had asked that question, he'd have found that out and could have verified that by going over to the guy's house. So there's a number of things here, which is why I'm still stuck on the protocol of what the patrol was supposed to be about.
The neighborhood watch group. You actually brought up that point, saying that the prosecution, what they did not do is because for every gated community with the neighborhood watch group, there has to be. First of all, I believe it has to be an actual organization, whether it's large or whether it's small. And I believe that there has to be protocols and rules and a guideline, an actual tangible guideline, whether it's on a sheet of paper or on a book. You actually said that why did the prosecution try to find out that information from the gated community? Because I don't believe that George Zimmerman just took it. It has to be an organization. It has to be more than one person in this neighborhood watch group. So they didn't try to find any information but really, even though we can talk about common sense, but had they brought in that physical or tangible rule book or the guidelines, they might have been able to say, well, okay, if a neighborhood watchman, okay, you're supposed to use two parts of your body, which is your ears and your eyes, and if you're going to use your fingers, it's just to dial the police because you are not the police. You are not an authoritative figure. In your mind you may be, but you don't have a badge. You do not have any kind of connection with the police. So what are you doing with a loaded semi-automatic pistol?
Okay, exactly. Now let me go here. I'm going to bring in this call right here, 313-861, 313-861. I'm going to bring you in on the conversation. Hello there, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good afternoon, sir. How are you guys doing?
Hey, baby, what's going on?
I just want to say, first off, I was not surprised with the verdict. You also got to look at Zimmerman's father was a judge. His stepmama was a judge. And if I'm not
You
mistaken,
know what? Yes.
His brother is chief of police, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? I forgot all about that point. Yes, they already in the law system. So
he's got his connection.
I forgot all about that point.
Second of all, the reason why you haven't heard nothing about guidelines for the block club patrol, because if I'm not mistaken, Zimmerman appointed himself as the block club. There is no official block club in place. That's something he appointed to himself.
Really?
Wow.
Now that is interesting.
Wow.
Now that is interesting. So if he appointed himself, okay, then see now it goes to show, okay, because I know they were saying that they had other trainers, you know, that who he trained through security and this, that, and the other, and they were asking him if he knew about this particular way, because they caught him in the lie saying he didn't know about this and he didn't know about that, and the trainer said, yeah, he did because this is what we trained for and this, that, and the other. So now it comes to reason, who else knew that the community had to know something about him being the patrolman or something because he was out there.
Exactly.
So why did they not sit up there and find out something? Okay, so if he's self-appointed, all right, fine. That there is one thing. So if there's no guidelines or whatever, so now you're just a private citizen trying to make a citizen's arrest, and then you were told, do not pursue, or we don't need you to pursue this, because you already had them en route. So now what? So I wanted to know, was he drinking? Because he sounded like he was drunk to me with his little banter and shit. But I don't know if he took a breathalyzer or whatever. I know anytime a gun is fired or there's an accident in the car or whatever, and you're supposedly the first responder or whatever, you have to take all of you have to take a drug test and a breathalyzer or whatever, just to make sure that you check out to be okay.
It's funny that didn't happen, because I don't know anything. If they did do a drug or alcohol test, no one knew about it. Nobody knew about it if it did happen.
I'm sure they did, and I'm sure it came back positive, and I'm sure his family buried it.
Interesting.
And what's so funny about that, it's like the defense attorneys can look at the cell phone pictures of Trayvon Martin smoking weed, and all of a sudden, once again, another example of prejudging or racial profiling. But honestly, it's like, for me, if George Zimmerman did get it, I don't understand how. Well, I forgot, because they were in the law force, and you said that he has connections. So there we go.
I completely forgot. See, in the beginning of all this, that was part of my argument, because I was like, okay, where in the hell all these pictures come from all of a sudden of his injuries and this, that, and the third? Because in the beginning there was no pictures. You know, there was just him, and they gave him the gun back once they found out the gun was registered and this, that, and the other. There was none of that going on. And then all of a sudden, you know, here we go 6 months down the line or whatever it was, then all of a sudden these pictures started coming up. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Now, y'all got me cursing. Really?
Yeah, because at first when the first picture they released, he looked like he did when he was in court. He looked like probably 300 to 400 pounds. You know, he didn't lose. He didn't have any. He was pleasantly plump. There was no weight loss. And all of a sudden, these pictures come out, and my first hunch was, I believe, and this is just me. If this sounds crazy, it's just my opinion. I believe that those photos were somehow photoshopped. That was my first.
That was the first thing I said. That was the first thing I said.
So it's like you want to spring. It's like they just sprung it out. It's like, oh, here are these pictures. Zimmerman's got a bloody nose, lacerations in the back of his head. I'm like, okay, well, that's not the original. You said that the first picture was the original one of him, and because he did go to the police department the same night, and he was questioned.
He was questioned, and he was released, and not one time did he seek any medical attention.
Wow.
Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember no medical attention being given to him. That the ambulance showed.
He asked for a day. Didn't he ask for a day out from work or something? Well, he did make a request of some kind, but it wasn't.
He went a few days later. See, you have to go back to before the trial.
Right. That's where I'm going. Right.
That's when they came out with he pointed, because that was his first defense, was he was the block club leader, and it came out that he appointed himself.
So wait a minute, here we go, right there. If he was the block club leader, that means there was a meeting somewhere. So somebody knew this, and that's what I'm saying about protocol. Somebody had to know something.
But see, you're not listening
to
the self-appointed. See, he was delusional. He didn't go to the meeting. He just went to work. He was a volunteer.
In his own mind.
Hot damn.
Because if you remember,
dig it.
He said he was trying to get a job in law enforcement.
Right.
Right. And that was his whole purpose of this block club thing, was he's supposed to be, quote unquote, practicing for the law enforcement.
Practicing. So this boy became his target. Good evening.
And then he went to the hospital, but it was 2 or 3 days later after the attack.
Which
after
means that was something that his
all
mom
these questions, and after everybody, that's when he went to the hospital.
Wow.
But no, he did not go to the hospital at first because he had a few scratches. That was it.
And so, and what's really funny about that also, there's just so much. It's just so much bullshit in all of this. It really is, because they said that the goal, the only way it can be self-defense is like with great bodily harm. If somebody is causing you great bodily harm, and
wow,
a few cuts on the back, a few lacerations on the back of your head, a bloody nose, but also no one is bringing up the fact that Trayvon Martin could have very well have seen that gun or that flashlight, or seeing him about to pull out something, because like I said, we do not know the specifics of what happened during that confrontation when the two finally collided. Trayvon Martin could have very well seen, oh shit, he's got a gun on him, and he's following me with a flashlight.
Now here's something that Whoopi Goldberg said the other day when she was asking the defense attorneys on The View, and she said, okay, if he was on the ground and on the bottom of all of this, where was the gun? And they said it was in, if Trayvon was on top of him, it would have been on his inner left thigh. She says, well, if he was subdued on the ground and could not move, if he had enough strength to grab that gun the way that it was, how come he couldn't have just hit him and punch him off of him?
Thank you.
That's not making sense, because if you had enough strength in you to reach over and grab this gun and still had enough strength to cock it and pull that trigger, no.
Exactly.
Because it was in the holster. If it's in the holster, you had to unclick the holster, pull the gun out, and it was not like it was, child, come on.
But go ahead.
Go ahead.
First off, you can't even consider, in my opinion, and I know I ain't a lawyer, you can't consider this a self-defense case. Because, let's see, I come from Detroit. I don't know about the rest of the country, but where I come from, if you in a confrontation with somebody and that somebody turns around and walks away from you, it's your best belief you need to turn and walk the other way.
Exactly.
If you turn and follow that person, mouthing off or doing whatever, and you violate their 3-foot space rule,
that's it.
Then you get what you get.
You get what you get.
The people told him not to follow the boy. Because had he simply not did that, none of this would be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't seeking, searching, and finding. As they say, when you look for trouble, you find trouble.
You find it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand how this could be self-defense to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly,
exactly.
And also, going back to the gun, they also said that, of course, they also said with the whole thing of the DNA. They said that DNA, well, the defense attorney wanted to bring up that, and George Zimmerman also said it too, again, another lie saying that, Trayvon Martin, he grabbed the gun or he tried to grab the gun. So if he did grab the gun, my question to them, where is the DNA? Where are the fingerprints? You know why? Because there is a. It's like, so again, it's just lie after lie. And that's what also is frustrating to me, because in my eyes, in my mind, this was an open and shut case. When you look at all those different factors, and how George Zimmerman also
I
saying,
believe injustice was served. I don't believe justice was served. Because if you'd have took them same circumstances and took little Ray and little Pete off the street,
okay,
I promise you it would have been a different outcome.
Right.
They would have threw the book at Zimmerman if he was just an everyday citizen out on the street.
Mm-hmm.
But because he has his family's connected and has ties, I mean, and it's understandable. If you a judge, you don't want to see your child. I mean, that's you don't want to see your child get hurt. I understand that. But when I say I wanted justice served, I wanted him to have a fair trial with no strings pulled, no made-up propaganda.
Okay.
No, they said this, so now we got to do that. Sit down, let's hear the real facts, and then make a decision. Why was there only 6 white women or 6 women on
and that was the other question.
And don't get me
on
started.
the jury. Every other place I know, you have 14 jurors, 2 alternates, and 12 jurers.
Exactly.
Right.
When did that happen?
Then it's supposed to be a jury of his peers.
Unless no man nowhere.
Unless he living on Paradise Island, there is.
Well, can I say this? I would not count George Zimmerman as a man. Let's just and that's just my personal thing. I know you said that, but but keep going. Keep going.
Unless he's living on Paradise Island, okay now. Okay.
Where was his peers at? That's just like taking a black person, putting him on trial of his peers, and they all white. Where? I don't see none of me up there. These people don't come from my neighborhood.
Wow.
That was some bull.
Now, I'm trying to understand that because, I was listening to a lot of the attorneys and things that said they were there during the jury selection process or whatever, and they want to say that the selection proceedings were fair. Everything was fair. There was nothing out of the ordinary or anything like that. But I'm with you on that because I'm like, why and when did this only become a 6-person jury?
And that's another.
I didn't understand that.
It was because it was not a trial, because death penalty was not an option. From what I've been hearing, with the legal channel, they saying the reason why it was a 6-person jury is because the death penalty was not an option.
Okay, the death penalty is
Michigan
not
is not death
penalty
an option in Michigan, but we had 12 juries.
Right. Where that come from?
Number one,
it's the same everywhere in this country. How they get away with that?
But you have to also remember, we're talking about Florida, the same people who helped Bush get elected. Also remember that.
There you have it.
Wow.
If a woman
that's deep.
Get off of killing her own child, it's like, come on, seriously. If Casey Anthony could get off for killing her own child, and everybody and their mama knows that Casey Anthony did away with her precious little girl, if you can get off for killing your child, then hell, I think it's like in Florida, please.
Right.
As tragic as it is.
But you have to realize, it's Florida. I know me personally because I was dumbfounded. When Bush ran the first time, I know when I went to bed, Al Gore was president. I know that.
Exactly.
Because I went to sleep. But when I woke up out of my dream the next day, Bush was president. And what the place was in question? Florida.
Right, where his brother was the governor at the time.
Exactly.
Okay. Where his brother was governor at the time.
You got family in high places in Florida. You just innocent.
But you know what? Now that's something to look at because you know what? It's interesting that we go there because again, here we are having established another pattern You know, the whole presidential election thing, you know, and whether it's true or not, we can all, you know, just for legal reasons, I'm going to say these are all alleged and it's just coincidental. But it's too coincidental to be a damn coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidences.
Well, I'm like Batman. I don't believe in coincidences. There are no coincidences.
Okay.
Wow.
So here we have a pattern here with that presidential election, and Florida was in question. Here we have now this particular case. This man got all the, you know, your mama and your daddy in the court system. Okay, and now you done got off, you know, based upon, and you know, some technicalities and things. And like I said, when the doubt was established, when they established that damn doubt, I was like, kiss my ass, because now when they close their case and did not bring anything else to say, all right, you know, we got to go beyond a reasonable doubt. You did not go beyond it. You just gave me the doubt. You gave me the doubt to say, okay, all right, well, okay, yeah, but y'all didn't concentrate on nothing else. Because had they concentrated on you are self-appointed as this thing, you want to be a law enforcement, you sitting up here using this for practice? Practice.
Right.
There's nothing about you that says that you are anything, honey, but a student.
There you go.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
I just want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
This is something that's my personal belief, or I know I tell it to people over and over again because nobody listens. I know we don't like to examine our past.
I know the feeling.
Everybody wants to ignore the past, which is probably why we keep repeating it.
Well,
say that.
You got to remember, the laws of this country was founded by thieves, whores,
and
generous
criminals.
Thank you very much. So now, who do you think the laws are going to support?
It's going to favor. Didn't I just say that? I just said that earlier.
Right.
Well, who in their right mind going to make a country that's going to go against them? That's just retarded.
Exactly.
The wars made the rules for them to prosper. That's what the point was.
Exactly.
Didn't I just say that? I just said that. I just said
back
that.
to the beginning, Demetrius. Back to the beginning. According to the law.
According to the law.
It is just. But if we go get spiritual at all, according to the Bible, no man is just.
Ha!
No, not one. None is righteous. No, not one. Not
right.
Your best works is nothing but a filthy rag before God.
Yeah, there you go. So it's always going to be this way until this system is over. And we just going to have to deal with it within the system.
Lord have mercy.
That's what I say.
Yeah, we want to be mad. Yeah, we want to be upset. But how many times we done seen this? This has been continuous.
This has
been
it's
not just. If you go kill a man, you go into San Quentin from 25 years to life.
And still the same.
If
right.
If Will Smith go kill a man, no, I ain't gonna say Will Smith. If
made the law. It wasn't no black people saying that, baby.
Okay.
If Jack Nicholson goes to kill somebody, he going 25 to life in Club Med. How is that fair? Where's
How
the
about
justice?
Okay.
Right.
How about that?
That little made-up chick, what's her name? Paris Hilton. Which of them keep getting drunk driving?
Oh, Lindsay Lohan.
Lindsay Lohan, right. Now, you go one time and get a drunk driving charge, they're going to take your license. And make you do a whole bunch of other crap. And if you dare to commit a second time, you can hang it up. This happened to 1, 3, 4, 5 times. She still got a license, she's still driving, she's still drinking.
And
where's just in that?
Right.
But again, she's famous, or her parents is famous, or whoever, because I don't know where she came from, but she's famous somehow.
Hey, hold up now.
Okay.
Now?
Somebody know her.
Right.
I'm
I mean, that's just like when you go get a job. If you go to a Chrysler or GM to get a job, you stand a better chance if you know somebody who's already working for Christ.
Exactly.
Who can pull you in just to walk on off the street and say, okay, consider my application.
Right. Exactly. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
Now here's this. This is from Wikipedia.
If we don't know nobody, we in trouble.
Okay. Here's
right.
what Wikipedia says about the stand your law ground, because they say many states have some form of stand your ground law. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Massachusetts, though the term is very, very loosely here. Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming have adopted the Castle Doctrine status. The other states, Iowa, Virginia, and Washington, have considered stand your ground laws on of their own. For example, Michigan stand your ground law, MC 780.972, provides that an individual who has not or is not engaged in the commission of a crime at the time he or she uses deadly force may use deadly force against another individual anywhere he or she has the legal right to be, with no duty of retreat, if the individual honestly and reasonably believes that the use of deadly force is necessary to prevent the imminent death, great bodily harm, or sexual assault of himself or another individual. Some of the states that have passed or are considering stand your ground laws already implement stand your ground principles in case law. Indiana and Georgia, among other states, passed stand your ground statutes due to possible concerns of existing case law being replaced by the duty to retreat in later court rulings. Other states, including Washington and Virginia, have implemented stand your ground judicially, but have not adopted statutes. West Virginia had a long tradition of stand your ground in case law before codifying it as a statute in 2008. These states do not have civil immunity for self-defense in the previous self-defense statutes.
And Texas look what happened in Texas. That man, he went and got a hooker. And they went to the hotel room. And he paid the hooker, but the hooker wouldn't provide services. So he went out to his car, got his gun, came back to the hotel room, shot her in the head, and the police let him go home. Why? Because in Texas there is a law that if someone takes something from you, you're to use any means necessary to get it back.
To retrieve it. Shut up.
My God.
And he walked scot-free.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's the just law, darling.
Okay.
Right.
Now, how about that?
Right.
Now, how about that? Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, let me do this, honey, because we can go round robin with this all day. But this here, my darling, is really something. But let me take a quick. Oh, is it that late for real? Okay. Let me take a quick break. Because when you know what? Wait a minute. Now, just let me go on into this because I got Detroit. Y'all are right here, and that is here. Let me play this right here. Y'all just listen to this. Are you gonna play? Go on and play. Come on, Pumpkin. Oh, damn it. Okay, I got to reset this so it'll play. But anyway, I want to go into this whole thing with Charles Pugh and all of this. Is this going to play now? Or I got this damn commercial in the front of it? Yeah, hold on.
Fight pepperoni heartburn and pepperoni breath fast with Tums Freshers. Concentrated relief that goes to work in seconds and freshens breath. Tums Freshers, fast heartburn relief and minty fresh breath.
Kevin, you seem to indicate in there that the deferrals were promises
for them to keep, the city to keep. Is that a fair assessment of that?
Matt, I don't see any way for us to keep all of those promises. I keep looking at the analyses and the balance sheet multiple times a day, and just looking, putting aside the deferrals on pension obligations, looking at the OPEB obligations, even removing the debt obligations. I just don't see a way for us to get to, collectively what is in excess of $6 billion in a realistic time frame. That's why I'm saying these concessions have got to be, as I said again, they've got to be fairly significant.
You put out an order today.
Yes.
Instructing council not to fill its vacancies.
Yes.
Can you explain why you went that way?
Sure. There was some discussion last week about what council should do, and there was some discussion about some council members as to whether or not they were going to be put in a precarious situation, perhaps assuming some liability but not complying with the charter. And so what I said even last week was, look, I'm perfectly fine to work with a council that is downsized. Frankly, it saves me budget, and we're in a lame duck, tail end of a lame duck session in city. And so remove any doubt and absolve them from any exposure. I said, you know what, let's just clarify this. We do not have to fill those seats. There's really no need. When I came on board, I took a lot of heat for one of my first orders, which was restoring compensation account, and order number 3, delegating authority to them. Then for whatever reason, council members want to leave, I don't really see the need for me to keep doing that. I tried to do that in good faith at the front end, but we're at a pretty critical time right now, so we'll work with what we have, and that's why I did that. I just clarified it.
The bus tour Wednesday night. Are you going to lead a tour? Are you going to be the tour guide?
No, frankly, I'm encouraged that some of our stakeholders actually are willing to come and see the city. They view that as their due diligence, and that's a good sign because they're taking this seriously and they want to know that about which they're going to speak, and also be able to go back to their governance and management structures and speak about it in an informed manner. So that's a good thing. Am I going to lead it? No, I don't think I have to lead it. I drive around the city every night after work just to make sure I can tell the difference between Van Dyke and 8 Mile and other areas. So I've gotten to know the city fairly well. I am going to speak to them and be prepared to answer any questions probably tomorrow at lunch, just to make sure that they understand the dire nature and the gravity. I know some people have said there's a moral hazard here, and what if we do this, other cities, and I want them to know Detroit is really sui generis. It's very, very unique in terms of the severity and the gravity of the situation. I don't know many other cities that have 40-year-old trees growing through roofs of houses. That's different.
All right, now that there was Kevin Orr. He is the emergency manager for the city of Detroit, and he has come on board to supposedly rescue these children out of financial ruin. However, for those of you who don't know, my listeners, honey, I done said this umpteen times, but you may be new and don't know that I am a Detroit native living in Atlanta right now. And everything that I am hearing seems to be something that has taken me off kilter, and it kind of upsets me because I know that my people there at home need to galvanize, but I think what has happened is that there's so much going on to it, nobody knows where to start and nobody knows where to pinpoint the hell what's going on or how to galvanize to say we need to stop this and stop this and stop that. So now, my Detroiters, I need y'all to talk to me and let me know what's going on, because I see these allegations against Charles Pugh have made the airwaves. It done reached down here to Atlanta about, him supposedly having dealt with the 17-year-old boy or whatever, who is now 18. He's 18 now, children. So, but at the time of these allegations, right. At the time that all these allegations went on, the child was 17 and a part of the mentor program in the school where it used to be Murray Wright, but now it's somebody's academy. And the former city council president has a mentorship program in that school. They oust him. Chantel, what's her name? Chantel Jenkins or something, is now the city council president. And she just started her tenure this past Monday. So now they're looking to do this. They have a couple of people who've resigned from the city council. And here's what I found to be very interesting, that one person resigned from city council where his salary was somewhere around $75,000, to become the assistant to the emergency manager, where he's getting paid like 3 times that, at $250,000 or something like that, for what I read. Now, if the city is broke, where in the hell is that money coming from to pay him this new salary?
The state. The state.
Number
just
one.
Like the state is paying OR. Because I'm like, okay, so we just paid somebody $625,000 to tell us that Detroit need to file for bankruptcy. Well, we knew that. We could have got that for free. We knew that, and that's the way it was in the beginning. His job was to prevent that, and his recommendation is file bankruptcy.
Okay, now what is going on now? From what I'm understanding, there's this whole big to-do about this $300 million that the state owes the city. Okay, and I'm trying to find the interaction, and I haven't been able to find it here. Probably not looking in the right places. But whatever this is that Snyder was supposed to have been given to the Snyder is saying he's not going to release it because it had nothing to do with him, that particular deal, if you will, was under Granholm's tenure, and it has nothing to do with his. And I'm like, well, wait a minute now, that's not making sense, because if it was under her tenure, and you came in, and that's a debt that's still owed by the state, then, hell, you got to pay your debts off. Why in the hell is this not going to... Just because, look, y'all know how it is when folks pass on. They don't give a damn that they gone, honey. They coming after the family. This child owes this amount of money. We coming against your estate. So, no, honey, Granholm is gone, but shit, give me my money.
That's the PR. See, there you go. One, what happened was there was some federal fund that the federal government gave Detroit for transportation or something, which was, I think, the $300 million.
Mm-hmm.
Granholm didn't give it to Detroit. They did other things with it. Now that when Snyder got in and... what's our pretend mayor name?
Bing.
Yeah, Bing. And Bing brought it to his attention. That's when he said, well, it ain't part of his responsibility because it didn't happen under him. And see, again, and if I was Bing, I would have told him, well, all that money Kwame stole, I didn't do neither, so why we got to pay that back? I'm not understanding.
Right.
We going bankrupt because we owe debts. Debts back from Coleman Young. But yet I'm supposed to come up with money for that. We talking 8 years ago, and you ain't got to come up with no money. But the state withheld it. They're not giving it to us because then our debts will be paid.
And I'm glad that you brought that up because I remember you were telling me how pretty much you were upset because, you know, like you said, Detroit is your hometown, and to the gentleman that came on, I know you mentioned that you were from Detroit as well. So I know I'm not from Detroit, but my heart still goes out to you because really this whole process, to me, basically it's like officials taking the money and run. It's a tragic situation when this is your hometown, this is where you're from, and it's being represented in such a disgusting, despicable way. But also I think I have more of a personal connection to, you know, how you all feel and what's going on with Detroit, because East Point, Georgia is my hometown, and around the week of July 4th, I found out from these news reports that East Point has $200 million, taxpayer dollars, that are unaccounted for. They don't know where the $200 million went, and this was over a period of about 10 years.
So y'all in the same, yeah.
And so that's about $16 million every year for 10 years that the taxpayers have been paying them, you know, doing what they're supposed to do, paying them money, and you have no idea where it went. And actually, Mayor Ernestine Pittman was also pretty much, she was the one that said, look, this is what it is. It's $20 million. We don't know where it went, how it was used, how it was spent. We don't know. And like you said before, even in Detroit, I understand. I know that Quantico Patrick, he is a low-down, dirty thief, and that's what it is, and he's serving his time for it. But one thing, if I've learned it, if anything else, if you're stealing or if you're cheating, you got to cheat and steal with somebody else. As you already know, it's obvious that there are much more people involved in, I would say, taking the money and run from Detroit, and just like how it is in East Point, there are a lot of more people involved, and somebody knows something. There's always that one person or those group of people that know.
It's more than just that one person.
Exactly, or a group of people that know every official or every person that worked in the government that had something to do with the money being misused and or unaccounted for. So,
yep, that's why the city council in Detroit quitting, because the feds now are going after more people, and people are now resigning. Because even though, first off, I'm gonna just say this: yes, Kwame took whatever he took, but these debts did not just occur through Kwame's term.
Right.
He wasn't the only one that done did that. They've been covering up so many of these debts and thefts for I don't know how long.
See, this goes all the way back to that Cougarant shit that Coleman was up under before he died. When they were sitting up there with all that African Cougarants and was trying to understand where this foreign currency was coming from and all of that, and nobody had an explanation, and they were almost trying to treat it like a second Fort Knox, because if we had enough Cougarants here that was supposed to be in the same value of whatever money we child. Okay.
But and then they're penalizing the wrong people. Because now, I bet you if you the CEO of Ford, GM, or Chrysler, and you look at their family and tell them $200 million is gone and you don't know where it went,
exactly.
See how much longer you be in office.
Exactly.
See how much longer you hold that position.
The heads are going to roll.
You got here, city council has not been made to give up any concession other than a secretary or two. You got the police officers and the firemen have to give up. They're trying to take their pension now and their medical care.
I heard that. I heard
that. The city, because the guy told the newscaster when he was interviewing one of the police officers, said, well, at least you have Social Security, Medicare. He said, well, you have Medicare. He said, in order to get Medicare, you got to draw Social Security, and we're not eligible for Social Security. Now, my first question was, how? If I could come out of everybody's check, how is you not qualified? But apparently, somehow, some way, they didn't pay into Social Security for the public services. So they don't even get Social Security.
Oh, my God.
Wait a minute. You got the two most dangerous jobs there, the police and the fire, that need medical and all of that because of the severity of the job. Lord.
Then, but you still got the city council still making their everyday paycheck. They still got limousine drivers. They still got bodyguards. They still flying to Hawaii for conferences.
And guess
but yet the working man who has no decision, and we don't decide where the money go.
Right.
We just pay the taxes. That's all we
elect these people who's supposed to have our best interests at heart, and then we do what they say, which is another mistake. But however, that's the way it's set up. Just like with the war in Iraq, Afghanistan, I bet we had an election to say that should we go over to Afghanistan to make them a democracy, the general public of the United States would say, F them people, let them suffer. No, we're going to keep our money. We'd have never agreed to that.
Exactly.
But those officials did. But who's suffering? We're losing our pension. We're losing services. We're getting things cut. We can't get good education because they're cutting the education system, cutting the teachers' pay, cutting their pensions. They're cutting food stamps, Medicaid. What do we do other than vote for you?
Wow. Wow.
I heard somebody clapping in the background.
Okay. Well, see, you know, here's the thing, because as I'm looking at all of this, where's my girl Maureen Taylor, honey? That's a pistol right there, because she's one who was down for the whole idea of welfare reform, to making sure that it's there for the people when they need it, and this, that, and the other. And she fights for welfare rights and carrying on for those who need it. And she's one to abolish those who abuse the system and things of that nature. And then also make sure that the system is going to be fair, because we all know what that system is. But I need people like her and everybody else to galvanize. Where are the people at to stand up to where everybody can come and say, okay, you know what, we're mad as hell and we're not going to take this anymore. We're the bra burners and the draws burners and carrying on.
But, you know, the problem is in Detroit, we pick our officials by recognition.
Yeah.
No one ever looks into what qualifies this person to hold whatever position they're running for.
Right.
Being played for the Pistons, so all of a sudden he's a great mayor, but his company, he failed his own company. So if he can't run his own company, he can run his city.
Right, and I said that when I heard him, I said, Bing.
Charles Pugh was on Channel 2 telling people's gossip. What qualified him to be president of the city council? And look what happened.
Right.
What? But because he's Charles Pugh.
Because he's Charles Pugh and had notoriety. Right. I never thought he was going to make it to president. When he ran for city council, I was there. And I was like, okay, let me see what you're going to do. You know, let me see what you're going to do with this and things of that nature, because it was a career move. What his platform was cute. And I said, okay, I would give you a chance, because you're just coming in as a decision maker. And coming from Channel 2 or whatever and knowing a little bit about that, yeah, okay, you got a little bit of knowledge about you and able to you know a little bit about the city and carrying on. So then this would be an on-the-job training kind of thing where, you know, as far as policies and stuff are concerned, you would be an advocate for the people. That's what you was on the news outside of your gossiping. Mm-hmm. When he became city council president, I was like, isn't that just a little too overzealous right now? You don't even know the job yet, child. What qualifications do you have to be president of something that you're just coming in on?
I'll tell you what qualifications he had, which
if
I think is one of the most stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. When you're running for city council, the person who gets the most votes automatically becomes the president. You don't run for the president of the city council. That's an appointed job to you, based on who gets the most votes during the general election.
Oh, now that I did not know. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I didn't know that. I thought that was a job, please, because I thought they voted for Mary Ann Mahaffey and carried on all these damn years. And
Charles
Irma
Pugh,
Henderson and
because
shit.
he was on Channel 2, got the most votes out of all the people that were running. So that's how he became the president of the city council.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Not based on his education, not based on his experience, simply based on these starstruck voters who, he's Charles Pugh. Now, it's a good thing the devil ain't running, because, boy, we
well, in some regards, I guess he did, huh?
But I'm just saying, that's one of our biggest problems. Just like now, they finna elect Dugan, this white man, for mayor. Do you think we crying now?
You know what? I keep telling folks they are not going to be happy until Detroit has a white mayor again. And
okay, well,
as much as these black folks, they got pissed about Dennis Archer. They called him all kinds of Oreos and carrying on because he wanted to make sure that we had some kind of allegiance and some kind of advocacy with the suburbs that carried on. When Archer was in office, the economy flourished. We had businesses growing. We had a lot of folks coming back into the city, willing to invest in the city. When Archer was there, that's when we had development and carrying on, what is now called Midtown. We got those townhouses and stuff built. We were starting to get a lot more stuff going on. A lot of the townhouses and the new development, which is supposed to be part of the charter now, nothing can go up without a percentage of it being allocated to those who are on low income. So some of these folks that applied and could get these damn townhouses or whatever, that had little or no money, and it wasn't a Section 8 program. It was that was allotted to them because of what he had established. That was Archer's thing, and he got talked about and ran out and this, that, and the other because everybody that's so pro-black, want to do this, that, and the third, and now we sit up here. I did not vote for Kwame. I didn't vote for him neither time. I wrote my own name on the ballot, and I said I did. I wrote my name on the ballot. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So you wanted to be mayor?
Huh?
You wanted to be mayor?
I'd have gambled on myself than to vote for him. I didn't like neither of the candidates at the time. I was like, hell no, I'm a better candidate as far as I was concerned, and it's my vote, so I put my name on the line. Yes, I did, and put a check mark right by there. 248-688. I see your hand as I'm gonna bring you in on this. Come on, baby.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in. I heard somebody talking about Mike Dugan.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, how can this be? According to the Michigan Charter, you have to be certified. You have to be a certified candidate. It has already been determined and deemed that Mike Dugan cannot be a certified candidate for mayor, which means, therefore, it would be illegal. It's, number one, illegal for him to run, and two, if these fools vote for him and vote him in when he's not a certified candidate, basically you're just throwing your hands up and saying to hell with the Michigan Charter, to hell with Michigan law, which is basically what's going on here and happening. How dare anybody support a candidate that is not certified?
Not only that, you got to look at the real message the real message I got out of what Dugan's saying. The problem was you have to be registered to run by a certain date, someday in April. I don't know exactly what it is. Dugan filed 2 weeks because you have to be a year in the city. He filed 2 weeks. He filed 2 weeks before the initial sign-up period, which means he hadn't been a citizen for a year. Now, my thing is, dude, I'm sure when you decide to run, when I play Monopoly, I at least read the rules before I started. So I know you had to read that the qualifications to be mayor was you had to be here a year. So then they had a big controversy. He took his name off the ballot and said he wasn't going to run. Then a few weeks later, they talking about his constituents cheered him on, so he decided to run. Okay, for what we've established, now you're a liar because you said you was not going to run, but now your constituents miraculously talked you into running, so now you're already going to run. 2, you tried to get elected without following the same channels everybody else got. So 2, now you don't play by the rules. You coming in showing you a liar and you don't like the rules and you ain't going to follow them. You're going to tweak them to your advantage.
Okay.
Exactly. So if he's going to do that now, what is he going to do if he becomes mayor? The same exact thing. And we as writers, we cannot tolerate this. And I cannot believe the amount of people who are standing behind this man who is deceiving the citizens. He is not certified. The law says you must be certified, yet they're allowing him to run as a write-in candidate. He shouldn't get not near a one vote.
Lord.
Because he is certified. And yes, the problem was his residency. He was living, I believe, in Livonia or somewhere. He just purchased a home in, I want to say, Palmer Woods or somewhere over in that area, and he had not been living there for 1 year. Now, number one, I think that 1 year is too short. How are you going to know anything about Detroit or what's going on? But that's what the charter says. So again, we need to enforce the charter. You know, what's the point of making rules if you're going to allow everybody or anybody to break them?
Oh, no, we can't break them. They don't allow anybody because we can't break them.
No, of course not. Of course not. If it was Tom Barrow who was in the same position that Mike Dugan is in, Tom Barrow wouldn't be able to even write his name down on a piece of damn paper. Excuse my French.
Right.
He wouldn't be able to do it.
Just like I was speaking to a friend of mine, and we got into this debate because he was one of the people saying he was going to vote for Dugan because Dugan got his stuff together. And one of the things that's commercialized is, I guess, Dugan was responsible for Vanguard taking over the DMC. And I'm like, well, if that's his reference, that sucked. Because now receiving has always been a poor man's hospital. If you can't afford medical care, you always went to receiving. Now that DMC has turned into a profitable organization, that no longer is the case. So then who did Dugan help?
Oh. Well, hold on. I'll give you one better. The DMC, recently, I want to say within a year or two, you know, they're doing a lot of remodeling in the area in which their centers are. There was a building there that housed senior citizens, people who were disabled, and I want to say they were maybe low income, whatever the case was. They, I guess, demolished the building or wanted to redo the building or whatever the case was. Each and every single person was evicted without notice. And they knew at least 1 year before the sale of this or whatever the transaction was that they were going to do. And they never notified the tenants, and then they served them all with evictions. You got to get out. And they basically said that I guess it was something like they were going to turn it into a low-income housing. And those people that were there didn't meet the low-income standard, so they were evicted. Every tenant.
Wow.
So if that's helping,
that's his
if that's helping, I don't need that kind of help.
Okay,
I told my friend because I said I wouldn't vote for Barrow, nor would I vote for Dugan. I'd vote for one of them women. I'd have to research. But I would vote for one of them women. One.
Okay.
You men have been running the city, and we in bankruptcy, so the women can't do no worse.
Okay.
We already at rock bottom. They ain't got nowhere to go but up.
Let me bring this caller in. 901-319. 901-319. I'm coming right here to you, baby. Hey, you on the air.
Hey, what's up, Meet Tim?
Hey.
Okay.
What's going on?
Not much. I called about the Trayvon situation.
Go ahead.
Okay. I think that everybody's talking about that, you know, we still want justice, we want justice or whatever. Okay, I think it's ridiculous that they found this man not guilty. How do you find a known killer innocent? They should have gave him something. If they couldn't come up with, second-degree murder, he should have at least get manslaughter, but, you know, to walk away. But I feel like at this point, it's time to stop saying, well, you know, they should have found him guilty, because they didn't find him guilty. So I think that just goes to show that people need to stop sitting on their laurels and stuff, because now people feel like racism doesn't exist and the civil rights movement, it went on and everything is fine and everything is good. But when stuff like this happens, it goes to show you that it's still like so much work to be done, and we can't sit around. And we want to cry foul now, but nobody wants to get involved. And so I think it's just a wake-up call for people to be more involved in the election process and different things like that, and just know, you know, what's going on in the community. And I don't think, you know, as a black man, you're always safe depending on where you are, but I think it opens up a conversation, and now it's time to figure out, you know, what can be done to prevent this, and look at, like, to stand your ground in some of these gun laws and things like that.
That's interesting. Hold on, let me say this. If you're listening by computer, I'm down to the last 10 seconds. We're going to stop streaming, but if you're on the phone, you'll catch everything now, and you come to the after show. And it will still be recording, and yes, it just went into record. So whoever missed all what I just said, they'll get it when they come and check the archives. Okay. But I try to make sure that I'm aware of that so that people will know that it's about to stop streaming, because sometimes the conversation will get so heated to where I forget to announce it, and then folks will be calling me like, "They just stop talking. Y'all still on?" Yeah, I'm sorry, baby. But yeah, Tim, to you, yeah, you're right. We have to start learning how to pay attention, because whenever we go and when we're in trouble or we stand before the law or before a judge or whatever, one of the things that used to be said when I was a kid all the time, and that is, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Mm-hmm. So we have got to make that, number one, it has to be part of the curriculum. When we were in high school, we took a 1 semester of basic law class, honey, that teaches you nothing really. Okay. The curriculum, it doesn't teach anything. So it has to be a part of the curriculum to where it starts off in the elementary school level. Mm-hmm. You know, when we were in kindergarten and we learned about red light means stop, yellow light means just slow down, green means go, or whatever, it needs to be broken down that simply so that it is inoculated in us from the time that we start to understand what responsibility is, so that by the time we get to a place where we're able to discern right from wrong and this, that, and the other, we know what this is. But a lot of this stuff is written in that damn legalese to where it becomes so confusing, to where, hell, a lot of us, you know, it's just like new math or whatever. If I can't get this within the first 5 minutes, fuck it, I don't want to be bothered with it. You know, and a lot of us are into that particular kind of mentality. Or sometimes we just don't want to put in the work because it requires a little bit of study. It requires a little bit of you got to sit down and learn this. But I bet you they could sit down there, the same tenacity it takes for us to learn our favorite lyrics to our favorite songs. We need to understand that it's going to take that same tenacity to learn this stuff that's important, so that we don't get bamboozled on the back end of this.
And that, I'm glad that you brought that up, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. It really is.
Yeah, that's schoolhouse rock, and you too young for that. You don't even know nothing about that.
Well, I've seen some schoolhouse rock episodes, so don't be so sure. Okay. I like the conjunction, junction. What's your function? Okay. But like I was saying before, it's like really knowledge is power, and how you bring up a valid point, because, and that's just a part of that. To me, that's just a part of, you know, education in general. You know, nowadays it seems like kids are learning, you know, lyrics to a song, or what so-and-so did last night on, you know, this TV show, quicker than, let's say, their arithmetic or even the law. And I'm glad that you brought up the point that, because I did take one of the last classes I had in college, it was for me in business law, but there it was basically basic, and we have this book where it talks about the law of public communication. It pretty much goes through every trial of every situation you can possibly think of, whether it went, you know, through murder or harassment and things of that nature. So really it gets to the point like, okay, I'm like, even if they're not teaching you in a school, sometimes you have to take the initiative to try to do your own research and learn on your own and be responsible for yourself, because you don't have to be in the schoolhouse or at the desk to learn. You can always go to the library. You can always go to, you know, let's say City Hall, for instance, get information there. It has to come from the initiative, and I believe that now more than ever, after this verdict and after, you know, seeing basically the foolery, and that's what I call it, the foolery of this, even though it was a fair trial, well, you know, surface-wise,
that's debatable.
Trial.
Right.
That's why I had to change it surface-wise. it's like now more than ever, especially for the preteens and the teenagers, in particular, even, yes, the young black men, because that's basically who is being targeted. But I believe that anybody should just go in and take their own initiative and learn about the laws, seeing what you can and cannot do.
Okay, because I think that is so funny. Go ahead.
One thing I would pose, though, now, in our community, we sit back, like me personally, I can look at the news, and every weekend is someone, someone is being murdered or whatever, and it's so much like black-on-black crime. And anytime in the media a story breaks and it's an interracial crime or an issue, then the black community just goes berserk. But why is it that we can't be so passionate when it comes down to us killing each other? And why is it like such a different standard? I mean, when you look at Chicago, you see 20 people being killed, in one weekend. And why aren't the people marching and rallying and trying to do that? And, they always want to interject race and be like, well, white people are racist and white people are prejudiced and all that. But nobody ever mentions, there's a lot of self-hatred and prejudice, that falls within our community as well. And I don't know why we aren't as passionate when it comes to, black on black crime in comparison to, when it's an interracial thing.
Well, you know what? We become desensitized to it.
But not only that, I'm 45. Okay. And my mom always was a mother of period. The parents don't teach children respect because they don't have any for themselves anymore. It's about guilt. I'm going to give you this because I feel guilty because I'm a single mom and I should have been married. So I'm going to give you this because I got... It's because of that. We don't teach our children to respect their elders, to respect their brothers and sisters, to respect their friends, to respect themselves. If there is no respect, then we don't care because we're killing each other. But if the man do it, that's wrong.
Okay, right.
Right. We don't have respect for ourselves as individuals or a community. So that's what the problem is. It's now. You could be anywhere and you listen to these children talk to their parents like they don't love them or even like them.
I mean,
you know what?
Like
and then the parents allow it. See, it's one thing to have a relationship with your parents, and because I know one of my sons or whatever, the way he and his father interact with one another, you would think they were brothers versus father and son. Okay,
right?
That's fine. That's fine. It trips me out because I'm a little old school, honey, and there was just a certain way that I could not talk to my mother because of the respect thing. Okay, and that's just how I was raised. Now, he is in his 20s or whatever, and so this is my generation's kid. So it's like, okay, you decided that you want to be a little bit more friendlier with your child. Okay, that's not the problem. But what it comes into is that you can't be so much of a friend that you forget to be a damn parent. Because anytime the child starts to raise themselves, honey, what the hell they need you for? And they start to look at you like that.
Right.
Until there's a problem, and then mama, daddy, help me out, and all you know to do is bail them out. Then no, you ain't teaching them. That's not living skills or survival skills. That is teaching them how to be moochers.
Right.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that's our generation. So where is it with us?
We don't have it on the churches and schools to raise our kids. Then nobody want to take responsibility. And when the churches and the school system said, them ain't our kids, we ain't doing that.
Right.
Right.
So now
that's where we are.
Exactly. And the whole sense of community, which is why this whole Trayvon Martin thing is so that way, because here's the thing. that I found to be very interesting, and that is, I did not hear of anybody going outside when the ambulance came to find out who was dead and this, that, and the other. They heard a gunshot. You heard that on some of the tapes. Get down, because they heard a gunshot. Okay, so we know we know not to be stupid to go outside like that. But I have not heard of anybody being interviewed. You know, well, no, let me not say that because it came out later. You know. But they were interviewing the folks that called the 911 children. Didn't nobody go outside, you know, or to my knowledge, no one went outside after they heard the ambulance to find, you know, to be the nosy neighbor to see what was going on. Is everything okay? Blah blah blah. George didn't call nobody. He called the police back. But where was he called to call for backup or anybody else? You claim you were hollering for help. You didn't go to nobody's door and say, "Oh my God, I just shot this man" or whatever. You know, where is all that? Did they get his phone records or whatever to see who else he called afterwards to find out what was what and this, that, and the other? I'm just having a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and then you also got to look at. This was one of them quote-unquote gated communities.
Exactly.
Gated communities usually don't have black clubs. They have a home association.
They have a okay.
They don't have no black club control. They have an association that taxes you, who guides you and tell you what you can and can't do with your house.
What you can and cannot do.
And when you break the law, what your penalty is. They decide all that.
Right.
That's the black club for rich people.
Right.
Going back to that then, so what's the rules?
And when you go to a gated community, the first thing you see is a private security guy at the front gate.
That's right. Number one.
So even if Trayvon had went in and done something, the security guard at the front gate would have put a hip stop to that in the first place.
If there's not a guard, then there's a press code. So he had to have known to get in there because he needs the code to get in.
Right. His daddy lived there.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So there's holes in this that I think where the prosecution could have gone in and really have done a number and really to go and even though there's a reasonable doubt there, the whole idea is to say this happened beyond that reasonable doubt. Because
I mean, my thing with the prosecution, I don't know, they sat there and let them put Trayvon on trying to protect his character and all this other kind of stuff, and they should have remained controlled to say, well, this isn't